Hiya, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and today I have a You Are My Sunshine card to share with you. So let's jump right in. Now this is the new Wild Tribal Stencil. It's one of the new stencils from the July release at A Colorful Life Designs. I have some ink pads here from Catherine Pooler, some cardstock, and I'm just grabbing some warm colors, and I will show you a photo of the finished card so you can see what direction we're headed. Now I'm working directly on the card base, so this is nice and flat. It'll be easy to ship. There's not a lot of bulk or extra paper needed to create this design, but I am going to lay this Wild Tribal stencil down directly on top of this card base, and I'm going to hold it down with magnets on my glass craft mat here. So I'm just pulling out this yellow color first and my blending brushes from the Rabbit Hole Designs, and I'm just going to do some very simple ink blending with these warm colors all over the card front. Now this card base is 120-pound accent opaque. I do get it from Amazon. I'll link it in the video description box below. This has been my cardstock of choice as of late, and I'm kind of ink blending heavier handed in the corners and lighter handed towards that diagonal center. I'm going to come in again on the corners just to rich it up or deepen it up rather with this orange color, and then with the highlight in the center, it almost looks a little bit metallic, like it's a bit of a highlight or something like that. So I'm just going light-handed as I move towards the center just to leave that diagonal strip pretty much very light or untouched. Now I'm going to come in with a die cut after I clean up my work surface here, just to kind of tie it all together, but overall, it's a very simple design. Now, this is a You Are My Sunshine die from Picket Fence Studios. If it's still available, I will link it in the video description box below. But I'm going to take advantage of some colored cardstock scraps here, and I'm just cutting out a strip in yellow, and I will run this through off screen through my die cutting machine. So I'm going to hold this down with my scrapbook mint tape and run this through. Now it is a bit delicate. I didn't have any issues here, but if you do have issues, you can always run it through with a metal shim, and that will help you kind of get those delicate bits cut with no issue. And what's cool about this one is even though it's delicate, it's all connected to this strip, so it comes out in one shot. You don't have to worry about any other little fiddly bits on the die. It's just right there attached to that strip. But it didn't stand out enough on the busy background, so I decided to run it through again with a scrap of black cardstock, and I'll kind of offset this just a little bit underneath the yellow layer just to give it a little bit of a drop shadow and give it some separation from that background. So you could do the black on the top or the yellow. I decided to do the yellow on top, and like I said, just offset it ever so slightly just so there's a bit of a shadow layer behind the letters so that it'll stand out and be visible. So I'm going to attach these together with some micro dots. I use the Artist Tack micro dots. I will link those as well in the video description box below. But I'm just going to do it on the back of the black layer and lay that down first directly on the card base. And then I will do the same thing with the yellow layer and then just slightly offset that on the black layer. So here I'm just kind of fiddling a little bit to figure out if it's straight and get it exactly where I want it on the design. Now, I did get a couple little dots on the front of it. You may be able to see that, but I'm not worried about it because I'm going to be covering it with the yellow cardstock anyway. Now, if I get any of the little micro dots on the top of the yellow, then I would just use an adhesive eraser just to kind of get those off so that there's no micro dots on the front. Now, a way around this, obviously, you could use liquid glue, but in my case, I would be getting oozage everywhere with these little fine letters. So, it's not ideal, obviously, getting micro dots on the front, but for me, that's easier to deal with than the liquid oozage. So you could maybe try and tape runner, but that would probably rip off those letters. Or if you have a Xyron machine, that's another option as well. But when it's little delicate die cuts like this, I tend to gravitate towards the micro dots just because that's what works best for me. So just use whatever adhesive of choice you're most comfortable with. I'm just going to burnish that down right onto the card base, and there's a little bit of excess on the edge here from the yellow because I have it offset, so I'm just going to snip that off with my scissors and then add a little bit of this pretty flat-backed sequins that are kind of a pretty yellow-orange color that match the design, and I'm going to put that in odd numbers. I'm going to kind of poke through and had a little bit of blockage in my liquid glue there, but I'm going to put 3 on the top, 2 on the bottom, And I have my jewel picker here to help me kind of hold these and pop them down on the little blobs of glue. And that's going to finish the design. So super easy. There are loads of amazing stencils in this July release. So be sure to check them out. I will link everything in the video description box below. And be sure to use my coupon AmyFan10 if you shop, and you'll save 10% on your complete order. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. I appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.